Hello, good evening, good morning. Welcome to our month of Leo, our second decan in Leo, running from August 3rd to August 12th. And for those of you who are new to my decan readings, I'm actually wrapping it up. I started this exploration with astrological decans about a year ago during the first decan of Virgo, being that last week of August, when I received the Unified Esoteric Tarot deck, which has been the basis of my decan readings for the past year. And so I've been doing these readings every month, 3 times a month, to represent the changing phases of the decans from 1, 2, and 3, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30 for each astrological month in accordance to the planetary placement that the Unified Esoteric Tarot associated with each sign for each month, and also the Minor Arcana card for each astrological decan. So I'm wrapping it up. I have a playlist, and I'm going to keep that playlist up because this will allow you to go back and see for a particular month what planet in particular the sign was in for that decan, for that astrological month, and also the card, Minor Arcana card of influence for that particular decan. So I'm going to keep that playlist on my site so you can make reference to it. And because these are fixed, like the planetary placement and the Minor Arcana card is fixed for each of these decans, it's not like a current astrological reading where the signs are changing into each planet as the planet changes. These are fixed, so you can always go back and look at that playlist based on the month for reference. So I will at some point return to doing my astrological influenced readings, but right now I'm taking a little bit of a break, and but I want to stay committed to this journey that I started a year ago in August, and now wrapping it up in the sign of Leo. So to continue on with this, our second decan, August 3rd to August 12th, I want to dedicate this particular decan reading to my late mom, whose birthday would have been on August 4th. She is no longer with us on this planet, at this plane, but I always remember her birthday. She's a very strong Leo, very inspiring, went through a lot to get to where she was, and unfortunately she died young. But she accomplished a lot, and she influenced a lot of people around her. So, Mom, thank you so much for being who you are. Love you very much. Okay, so here we go for our second decan. I'm going to be using, let's see here, 4 cards to encompass the Unified Esoteric Tarot. 4 different interpretations, or in this case 3, because I have 2 cards that are sort of similar in their environment, but the meanings are slightly different. And so that's what I've been doing with my readings, is introducing other cards of the major arcana, but from different decks, to showcase different visual depictions of that particular Minor Arcana card in reference to that particular decan. So I know that's a lot. So here we are with the Unified Esoteric Tarot. Okay, so again, August 3rd to the 12th. And Unified Esoteric Tarot placed the keyword of challenges for this decan. And I had to really think about this when it came to this keyword, because Leo, the sign of Leo, and their characteristics are of strength, of vitality, of pride, leadership, someone that people look up to because they know that they can provide guidance through times of adverse challenges. And so with this card for challenges, it is placed here with the influence of Jupiter and Leo. And our minor arcana card of influence is the Six of Wands. So with this Jupiter influence in Leo, Jupiter is the planet of optimism, expansion, luck, and a few of those properties of Jupiter's energy motivates the sign of Leo to take on any challenges, any adversity, any confrontation direct on, but with pride, with dignity, fortitude. It fuels, it inspires, it motivates Leo to not have any fear, but to take on this challenge. And, Jupiter is a fiery planet. The Six of Wands, 5, 6, and 7. These minor arcana cards to represent the Decan of Leo is of action, is of motivation. There's not a time of stillness. It is time to get to your goals, get to where you want to be. So Leo, with Jupiter and Leo, this really inspires them to work through any challenges. It also represents the chance of falling into luck for those who may not be experienced in handling the role of leadership. And what I mean by that is this is a situation where perhaps where they're placed in this decan, the second decan of Leo, we hear the term dumb luck, someone who just got placed a platter of gold in front of them because it just happens to fall in their way, yet they don't know what to do, how to manage it, or they work with it, but they're not guided properly. They don't have the experience to work with this overwhelming abundance, this overwhelming placement of responsibility. And so that's where the challenge comes into someone who may be a Leo, but doesn't have that understanding of their own strength. Maybe it'll come later in life, or maybe it's there right now, but they're learning how to work with it. And so what ends up happening is they have to be placed in this situation to take action. And in this case, if it's unexpected, it's going to be chaotic. There's not going to be any direction. And then in turn, that's going to cause some issues for that person who's taken on this responsibility, which may be overseeing a large group of people to run a business, or to run some sort of an event. It's not they don't know how to use their resources properly. So the best way to handle something like this is understanding the best way to manage the situation, so that there can be this great sense of accomplishment. Okay. We have to take that moment for those who get blessed with unexpected abundance and not knowing how to do it. You take your time to understand it because you don't want to waste this energy. Jupiter, especially in Leo, Jupiter is that opportunist planet. So when it falls into Leo, that's wonderful for them, but you need to already be prepared and understand how to work with what's been given to you. And if not, if you are unprepared, you have to bring on board those that you can trust, that can guide you to help you build whatever is needed to continue success or to start building towards success. You have to have that good support group to be there for you. So that's where the challenges comes in. Those who are ready and already having that inner strength to take on that challenge and just work with it and make it to the benefit of those around them and in turn themselves, or the challenge of being unprepared. But it's there. It's unprepared opportunities. How are you going to work through that? What are you going to bring in to make this opportunity that you're not so familiar with to be in your favor and to those of others? Okay. So as I pointed out, the minor arcana card of influence for this particular decan of Leo is the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands is that moment of recognition of one's effort towards success and their leadership. So let's say you were put in this situation here, okay, where you were unprepared, but you made it work. You put your ego to the side, and what creates success for the second decan is not thinking about yourself, but thinking about those who will be affected by your actions, the choices that you make, the challenges that you face, and how you went through them, and how it led to the outcome. So that's what we see here with the Six of Wands. There's a trust, a confidence in your authority that has proven to be successful. The skill and hard work toward your endeavor has been acknowledged. Again, you've faced your challenges, obstacles, difficulties courageously. You're ready to move forward because you learned from it. You've done it, and that kind of increases the self-esteem quite a bit, and that you can move on to the next phase or to your next endeavor with that confidence. And if a struggle comes in again, you know how to work through it. We normally see with the Six of Wands a laurel wreath, and I will show you that in these cards here. Like with the RWS, we would see the laurel wreath that's worn on top of the victorious leader. And wands are either floating up above them, or the person who has accomplished their goals is holding one of those staffs. And the laurel wreath and the staff and the wands indicate those honorable earnings of everything that you've built up to this point, and it is well received and respected by others. But please note, this isn't the end. This is just something that is momentarily a recognition of your efforts. And then from there, you move forward, but you move here from the heart. Leo rules the heart. So there is a lot of love and pride in what Leo does. And to have that recognition is very well appreciated for many Leos. It doesn't have to be big, but just the acknowledgement that, you did good, that means a lot. So with the cards that I have here, I'm going to be working with the Dreams of Gaia, my favorite, Tarot of the Holy Light, and then I'm going to be bringing in 2 decks that are nature inspired, because I am working with animal and nature energy for the summer month. So I have Thorn and the Nature Spirit Tarot. So I'm going to start with these two, Thorn and the Nature Spirit Tarot, and the way that they depict the Six of Wands, but held in the environment of nature. Okay, so let's start with this one. This is a very large card. This is from the Nature Spirit Tarot by Jean Herzel. Okay, and in this deck, the wands are actually replaced by the energy of amethyst. So we have amethyst crystals for spiritual energy, movement, focus. And then here we have the laurel wreath on top of one of these wands, or on top of one of the amethysts. And with this card here for the Nature Spirit Tarot, we're seeing the Six of Wands, but placed in its natural environment. And it's through this card in particular, it's the attainment of success through higher spiritual ideals. The key lies in remaining optimistic and positive in your endeavors through the guidance of the moth. It's the moth, the butterfly. These two winged creatures go through transformations to get to, the different state of where they are. They're different species. And so with the moth, it is remaining positive and optimistic in all the shifts that you have gone through to be transformed. Here, the magnolia. Okay. The magnolia is representative of this card, is a reminder to trust in your own integrity and your tenacity. Know that you can achieve your goals and evolve spiritually to become one in your environment. So it's this natural placement of these forces here. The success of the laurel wreath. Nobility is another word that gets associated with the laurel wreath. And then again, the spiritual energy that comes from amethyst, one that is a focus and that keeps the energy steady but moving at the same time. And then we have the moth of transformation, of ideals and positive optimism. And then again with the magnolia, excuse me, to trust in your own actions and your own choices, and to have that inner strength to move forward. And again, knowing that in this whole process of going through challenges and getting recognition, there's also an evolvement of the spiritual self. Okay, physically, emotionally, mentally, you're going through all these actions and you're making these steps of change. But as that's going on spiritually, that's shifting as well, because you're getting that confidence, you're feeling that trust that you can continue moving forward. But that comes at a deeper side of who you are. Here with the oak, ash, and thorn, I have to move my notes here because I wrote a lot. Here, the oak, ash, and thorn shows the fox, and the fox is one of the animals represented in this deck for being, very smart, very witty, aware of its environment. It's a proud creature when you think about the fox, and it's placed on the stone, on the rock there, and it's being held in high regard for its leadership. This highly witted creature represents swift action and adhering to those wise choices that is led in its direction of accomplishment. And we're also seeing here the community reinforcement. Okay. We have what looks like doves. And again, here we have again with the butterflies. The transformation, the celebratory environment of the community, and trusting that this individual person who has done all these actions and has gone through courageous challenges will be able to guide the people that have been supporting them to the next phase. And I almost feel like the Six of Wands is almost the card of promise of what's to come. But again, that is up to the person who may be represented in the Six of Wands, how, again, how they do their actions, and if they stay committed to any decisions that they make, because there's a lot of responsibility that's being placed on them, but that doesn't bother Leo. As long as they get to do what they need to do in their way. And that's where integrity comes in. Because if those actions and choices that you make do not work out, it ends up being a wound to the heart, because people will start losing trust in you, and that in turn affects the Leo, how they have to step back and look at their actions and see what they did wrong, and move from there again. So with the support of the community, of those that have been supporting this individual, it is an inspiring, transformative time for everyone, that this person is being held up upon a pedestal to, help them move forward. Alrighty. So next, I have the dreams of Gaia. The dreams of Gaia. This is a deck that doesn't work with the RWS way of interpreting a lot of these cards that we see. But I wanted to bring this card out because it's actually not the Six of Wands, but it's the Six of Fire. And this card, in particular with the dreams of Gaia, is more of the Leo individual, those kinds of characteristics, has turned into the mediator, has become the person in the middle to resolve two opposing forces so that there can be an agreement. And it's the coming of differences of two different parties and getting the mediator to get both sides to see and understand the differences that are causing this rift between two parties. I mean, ideally, if one of these parties was to concede, to step back just to make space for the issue to be resolved, then that's fine. The issue can be laid to rest. But here, the mediator, the middleman, is trying to put harmony, is trying to find the courageous nature, to have these two parties understand the courageous side of who they are, and to take risks and to take chances, and also to let go, but also to know that things are going to be okay. And this is what the mediator wants to express between these two parties. It's this external influence of the mediator who has the strength and self-confidence, again, who can show the harmony that can be placed into a situation where there's obstacles. The spiritual centered individual has the knowledge and guidance to absolve any imbalances. And in doing so, possibly inspiring the situation to reconcile and see their differences in a positive light, instead of one filled with obstacles. So, in line with the Leo, this is someone who is trying to bring in a balance of two opposing forces that are having a hard time seeing both sides of a situation. And so, again, it's with that self-confidence and that strength and that self-belief of this individual, the mediator, to instill those kinds of forces into those two opposing energies, and to make peace. And we could see very similar to the Hierophant, giving the blessing between both souls. And also to look very carefully too, we have the cup here that's filled with water. It's actually overflowing. It's starting to fall down here. And we're starting to see the growth. We're starting to see the healing that's taking place here. The emotions coming out of this cup, falling down onto these 3 particular flowers to nurture it and to continue its growth and its well-being. This is actually a very beautiful card in relation to facing challenges. It's a wonderful card. All right, I hope this will focus. I'm not editing. As many of you know, I don't edit my videos. You get what you see. So the next card is the Tarot of the Holy Light. And the Tarot of the Holy Light does more of an esoteric perspective. Okay, I'm going to close this lid. I'm going to open it up again. A minute. I don't know why it's not focusing. Alrighty. Okay, so here of the Tarot of the Holy Light, we have the esoteric perspective of the Six of Wands. And as you see here, the core focus is the differing energies of the lion and the eagle. And I will explain that briefly in a moment. But what we're seeing here is that the success of oneself comes first off by being of service to others. Okay, this isn't made very obvious in the cards, but we're seeing the service of others more or less in the realm of taking care of what surrounds us in our environment. So we have here the flowers, we have the vine. It's looking very strong. It's looking very healthy. And again, we have the energy, the sun shining very strongly up above. And this coming of service to others. It is this commitment and desire to act in the best interest of others. And again, like I mentioned earlier, and by helping others, in turn, you will learn and grow within yourself. You benefit from this helping of others and becoming empowered and more confident in this. This is the path of personal growth and challenges that the free will may encounter in many circumstances. So what I mean here by the free will is basically doing whatever you want to do, okay? Within the confines of your environment, you have to be mindful of your actions and what you say, because no two people are alike in some circumstances. And so what you have to be mindful, if you do take free will, how much of your own selfless actions are you willing to share so that you don't lose connection to your authentic self? Okay, so how much are you willing to give of yourself to your community without giving all of yourself away? You have to take care of yourself. Very important. Okay, but you don't want to overexpend your energy at the same time. Here, the lion represents the ego. This is the conscious collective self. This is how we see things, how we feel things, how we experience things in this physical realm. But the eagle here represents wisdom and freedom attained while also remaining spiritually independent. So with that, we have two opposing forces. We have one that is living in the conscious realm of the Leo, okay? While the ego is the ego, while the eagle is more freedom, knowledge, almost similar to the Aquarius attributes, where it has the understanding of the situation, and it has that higher level of awareness, but it also is free in that sense spiritually. It's the difference of the Leo, the lion being the conscious realm, and the eagle being more in the subconscious realm, the way we think, how we process information. It's that challenge between these two forces of the lion and the eagle. I keep saying eagle, to remain independent. Because the ego wants to have that free way of perceiving things, while the lion has that physical connection to the conscious realm. And so it takes things, it's more connective at that sense as to how things happen at that time. So these two opposing forces have to delegate. These are two different forces of will, the will of the mind and the will of fiery energy. It's fire and air. And those two complement each other. Okay, but how much, as I was mentioning earlier, how much of this give and take are you going to do with these two different perspectives of the mind and of the fiery energy? It's learning how to work with those two different forces like I was showing here with the dreams of Gaia. What is needed? What's the harmony that's needed to be brought in to create this moment of understanding and knowledge? Bringing the fiery energy of Leo to come to a moment of just thinking and really seeing what's going on. And again, as I have mentioned, making wise choices. It's very important. So with the Six of Wands, the key word here is free will. Okay, how much of that are you willing to expel out, but also contain at the same time? You don't want to expel too much of that energy. You know, like going back here to the Unified Esoteric Tarot. Okay, challenges. Being optimistic, knowing what is up ahead and how to prepare for it. And if you are unprepared for the challenge or anything that comes your way that you do have to face, you need to make the proper actions and thoughts to move through those situations in a way that there will be a successful outcome and something that you will learn and grow from. That's the whole premise of this particular decan, is learning from the challenges and moving forward from it. And taking those lessons that you learn and applying it each time with each new endeavor. So use the Six of Wands as a form of guidance to having perseverance and self-confidence in anything that you do. Okay. At this point with the Six of Wands, a lot has been accomplished. Okay. I mentioned these are temporary situations. Okay, but there's still work that needs to be done. You're on the right track. That's what the Six of Wands is. You're doing good. You're on the right track. How are you going to maintain that? How are we going to work with opposing energies so that we understand and move through them and continue onward in a stronger manner? You have the support around you, that is working with you and rooting you on and inspiring you and showing you that encouragement to keep going. And in this case, embrace it. It's like a performer. A good analogy for Leo is someone who is a performer. The results that they get from the audience, what they hear, the cheers and the clapping and the ovations and stuff, that's, you're doing your job. You're on the right path. Keep it going. Okay? Don't try. You're not doing this. You're doing this for yourself. Leo Decan number 2. This is all for yourself. And you're sharing what you have with others. And that's what makes you the most happiest. So we have to keep this momentum going wisely, but in a steady fashion. Don't go, straight on. There has to be some sort of, not formula, but some sort of set direction in what you're doing to reach the goals that you would like to attain. So that's our Six of Wands. And for our second decan from August 3rd to the 12th. And Leo rules the 5th house of creativity and pleasure. So Leo rules the arts, activity, sexual activity, things that are impassioned. Those are the forces that Leo is inspired by, especially in the 5th house. So we take those influences and those energies that we have in the 5th house, and we apply it throughout the entire month of Leo. So that wraps up the second decan, 10 to 20 degrees, August 3rd to the 12th. On the 13th, I will be back and I will wrap up my year-long journey of the decans, and we will go back to the first decan in Leo, which is the 5th of Wands, to our second decan of Leo, which we are at right now, 6 of Wands, and then the 7 of Wands for our third decan. We're going to merge these energies of these different decans. Our first decan for Leo was held in the sign of the sun in Leo, which is what Leo is ruled by. But the key word was lust. And I changed that word, the key word for the Unified Esoteric Tarot, to loyalty and vitality for that. So we'll go back and just see these different energies and how they can influence us and inspire us to move forward during this month of August in the sign of Leo. So for this, we are working with victory and responsibility throughout the 6 of Wands. Okay. How we are victorious through any obstacles and differing circumstances that we come through, using the influence and the inspiration of abundance, positive, optimistic filled Jupiter. And then with the 6 of Wands, how we have that moment of recognition and pride of where we've come from and to where we are at this time temporarily. And then also the balancing of different energies. How can the Leo merge to opposing forces so that they can understand each other? And that can go within yourself as well. Any conflicts that you have within yourself, you yourself can be the mediator to try and decipher, what needs to be, what needs to come right in between to make these two parties or two energies understanding of each other. And the willpower of the mind and our actions. Alrighty. Thank you for watching. Again, I'll be back August 13th to wrap up this very last decan of my astrological journey in the sign of Leo. And we'll do an overview. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, I have the playlist for all the decan readings if you want to go back to see a little bit of what I discussed for each astrological month and the decans and the minor arcana card of influence. It is there in the playlist. Excuse me, it's there in the playlist to make reference to. And then I will see what the next journey will be with me astrologically, because I have some ideas, but right now I'm putting those ideas on hold before putting them into action. So that'll probably take place in the fall. where next I'm going to take the astrology with the tarot. This has been a wonderful journey. So with the Unified Esoteric Tarot and exploring all the different interpretations of the planets and their signs and the Decan readings. Any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I will be posting more videos, but this is my mid-month, sort of mid-Decan reading for the month of Leo. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day, evening, and I will see you soon. Thank you again.